Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to go over the NFL for Saturday, December 20th. And it is two games today, Philadelphia versus Washington and Green Bay and Chicago, as you can see on your screen. And opening odds. We're going to focus on the ones on the left, the faded out ones. -120 for, we're going to start with Philadelphia versus Washington. -120 opening odds on the money line for Philadelphia. And Washington +100 even. Or you could say 110 and -110 is even, but 100 is the ultimate even because there's literally no value either way. But these are just the opening odds. Obviously, it's different now. If you look at the odds now, it is different, but Philadelphia is a massive favorite now. But we're going to get started. All of this is on my notes, as well as the current odds here. As you can see, Philadelphia is -350, but we have it at -355, and I'm going to tell you why it may go back there. But a few hours ago, it was -355 plus 270. Currently, it is -350 plus 275. And I'm going to tell you why Philadelphia went up on these splits. And I adjusted the splits accordingly. So we will adjust this accordingly on the Patreon. But I'm showing you this in the video so that you could take note of that. But the numbers here have been reduced. 1 plus 20 is 21. And we apply any of these numbers, and 12 plus 0 is 12, and 1 plus 2 plus 0 is 3. And we apply any of those numbers to our decodes if we find any parallels. And that's where we get those numbers. The spread opened at -1.5 points for Philadelphia, +1.5 points for Washington, -110 even there. Currently, Philadelphia is a touchdown and extra point favorite, 7-point favorite at -106 cost, -114 cost for Washington as a 7-point underdog. Over under opened at 48.5 at -105 cost. Under 48.5 at -115 cost. Currently, total is at 44.5 at -105 cost, and 44.5 under 44.5 at -115 cost. All right. Let's get started with since we already went over the opening odds, let's keep it consistent. Let's go over we're going to go over the odds from earlier in the week. But now with this game, it was a lot of parallels. A lot of parallels because nothing really changed up until yesterday morning. But we're going to go with the expected value. Start with the expected value. Well, next topic is the expected value. And we're going to go ahead and delete this, because the props and extras will be on the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video, as well as the picks as well. But I will give you hints at what should happen based off where these odds have gone throughout the week, which is why I do this. But 52% win percentage that is based off the -120 plus 100. That gives Philadelphia a 52% win percentage, Washington a 48% win percentage. That gives Washington a -$4 expected value, and that gives Philadelphia a -$4.67 expected value. Now, what is expected value? We should have started with that. What expected value is the measure of what a bettor can expect to win or lose on each bet placed on the same odds time and time again. Expected value, probability of winning. Well, that's the formula below it. I'm not going to go over that. It's right here. It will also be in the description. And it is based off $100 wagers, because $100 is even amount. And we just use that as the default value. Now, betting odds on Tuesday for Philadelphia, -295 for Philadelphia, +240 for Washington. 90% betting, 10% betting for 90% betting for the Eagles, 10% betting for the Commanders. 93% money on Tuesday, 12-16, 7% money. Odds stayed the same on Thursday, 12-18. 93% betting percentage, 7% betting percentage. 96% money for Philadelphia, 4% money for Washington. So it's not a huge difference. Betting went up 3%. Money went up 3%. So just keep that in mind. It went, and the odds stayed the same. Now, obviously, it is different. And we will go over where the odds are going currently in a moment. And let's go. Well, actually, we'll do that now with the money line. So we just went over money line. Let's keep it consistent. 94% going with the Eagles currently, and 94% on the betting and the money, going with the Eagles currently. And their odds keep increasing. As I showed you, it went up from negative 355 for the Eagles money line to now negative 350, as you can see right here, the current money line. Now, back to this. Let's go over the spread. Let's go over the spread real quick, because that gives you a pretty huge clue of who's going to take the ML, as long as that keeps happening and the odds keep increasing. And really, it's above 90th percentile. So, and the odds keep increasing. Gives you a hint at what could possibly happen. The only way it would go other way around is if the odds decreased totally, while Philadelphia held their line. Basically, they held that negative 335, negative 330 range, but Washington went down significantly to about plus 210, plus 205, something like that. But the spread currently, it is, get that off the screen, update, negative $7 7-point spread for the Eagles at minus 106 cost. And 7-point underdogs are the Commanders at minus 114 cost. Now, Tuesday, 6.5-point favorites. Thursday, 6.5-point favorites, minus 110 even for both days, for both teams. Tuesday, 70% betting percentage for the Eagles, 30% betting percentage for Washington. Thursday, 78% betting percentage for the Eagles and 22% betting percentage for Washington. 85% money going with the Eagles, 15% money going with the Commanders on Tuesday. Thursday, 12-18, 89% money going with the Eagles and 11% money going with Washington. Now, currently, where is the spread? I just showed you 7-point favorites of the Eagles at minus 106 cost. Currently, and also the picks will be on the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video. 80% going with on the betting, going with the Eagles, and 86% going with the Eagles on the money, on the spread. Now, earlier in the week, notice how the cost was minus 110 even. Eagles went down in cost. Eagles went down in cost. If the Eagles are to cover this spread, Eagles are now at minus 106 cost. Washington is at minus 114. If the Eagles are to cover, and this could happen because these fluctuate all the time, this minus 106 cost will more than likely have to go to minus 110 or above if the Eagles are to cover this. And this will more than likely even out by game time. Just keep that in mind. Let's go over the total. Currently, the total is at 44.5, minus 105 cost here. Under 44.5 and minus 115 cost. That is the current total. Now, on the splits currently, that gives you, okay, the unders are dominating the bets and the money. 86% going under and 84% going under on the money. And this is based off global sportsbook averages from SBD. And that's where I get these values from. Based off all global sportsbook averages, and they average it out and they get these percentages. So it is legitimate data. Tuesday, 12-16, and Thursday, 12-18. 44.5 cost going over, 44.5 cost going under, minus 105 cost going over, minus 115 cost going under for both days. 7% betting percentage going over on Tuesday. 5% money. Well, we'll focus on the larger values. 93% going under on Tuesday. 95% going under on the money. Thursday, 91% betting going under and 92% going under on Thursday on the money. On Thursday on the money. Now, the cost on the total. Minus 105s hit more than minus 115s, believe it or not, in all sports. And it is like a 60-40, 63-37 split, by the way. So it's a decent amount. But when you're looking for, what you're looking for is consistency. And we've got consistency here for sure. Minus 105 here, minus 105 here. Remember, it started at 48.5, the total amount. And that minus 105 is held true for the over. And normally when you get these overs that remain consistent, the minus 105 won't hold up. It won't hold up. But considering that the value hasn't changed, the cost hasn't changed, but the value hasn't changed either, with the exception of the opening. So I would consider going with that over, and it may be one of those like 45-point totals, something like that. But yeah, it's going to get you right around that 45, 43, as long as that 44 points holds up. But more than likely, it will go over, and that 105 has held consistent. And the 105s hit more so than the cost of minus 115. But Green Bay versus Chicago. Now, this is a pick'em game. Bettors don't know what to do with this game. Because, and also the props will be on the Patreon, anytime TDs and passing yards. And we will add a few if necessary, if we find any sort of advantage there. Minus 115 cost going with the opening. Minus 105 cost going with the opening on Chicago. And these have been reduced. And as you can see here, this is the value here. Minus 115, minus 105 here. And those have just been reduced. Reduced right here. Plus 1 plus 15 equals 16. 1 plus 1 plus 5 equals 7. And we just apply that to anything that we can find that makes sense, to basically find a parallel that can help us get winning picks currently. Let's see if this has stayed the same, because the other game changed. Let's see if this stayed the same. Currently, as of a few hours ago, quote unquote, it was plus 108 to minus 126 for Chicago. Let's see if that remains held. Yep, it stayed the same. Plus 108, minus 126 for Chicago. Now, and if we'll go over that. We'll go over that when we go over the other the odds throughout the week. I was just going to tell you something about the Chicago ML at minus 126, but let's stay on track. Opened on the spread at 1.5 point favorites, Green Bay, minus 105 cost. 1.5 point underdogs were Chicago at minus 115 cost. Now, you could apply the 105s and 115, basically the costs on these spreads. You could apply the openings to your decode, because opening odds are usually the most telling. Remember that. Don't eliminate don't forget about the opening odds. They are the most telling. Just remember that. Now, it has flipped currently. 1.5 point underdogs is Green Bay at minus 108 cost. 1.5 point favorites are Chicago at home at minus 112 cost. Total opened at over under 45.5 at minus 110 cost, even. Sorry about that. Over under 46.5 at minus 112 cost. Under 46.5 at minus 108 cost currently. Now let's go over the expected value, and excuse me. The expected value is based off the opening odds. Minus 115 here for Green Bay, minus 105 here for Chicago. And then we'll move on to the odds. Now, opening expected value, 51% win percentage and 49% win percentage for Chicago. That gives Green Bay a negative $4.65 expected value. That gives Chicago a negative $4.33 expected value. Currently, win percentage, based off the plus 108 minus 126 for Chicago, plus 108 for Green Bay, 46% win percentage for Green Bay, 54% win percentage for Chicago. That gives Green Bay a negative $4.32 expected value, and that gives Chicago a negative $3.14 expected value. And of course, the formula is below there. Definition is below there, and it is based off $100 wagers. Let's get this off the screen. Of course, that is at the bottom of the page. But currently, as you can see here on the money line, it is perfectly 50-50, 50-50. Bettors don't know what to do with this game. It is the ultimate pick'em game. It is the ultimate pick'em game, not odds-wise, but splits-wise. But let's go over where the money line was throughout the week. Tuesday, minus 112 cost, minus 104 cost. Minus 112 cost, minus 104 cost on Thursday as well. 62% betting percentage going with Green Bay, 38% betting percentage going with Chicago on Tuesday. 52% money percentage going with Green Bay, 48% money percentage going with Chicago. 56% betting percentage going with Green Bay, 44% betting percentage going with Chicago. 51% money percentage going with Green Bay, 49% money percentage going with Chicago. Spread Tuesday, 12-16. And well, let's go over what that means. Minus 126 currently for Chicago. And it is 50-50, 50-50. Now, let's scroll up. Currently, the money has stayed somewhat consistent, 52% on Tuesday, 51% on Thursday, and 50% early Saturday morning, which is now. Now, the betting has changed significantly from 62% on Tuesday to 56% on Thursday to now 50% even on Saturday morning. And Green Bay has gone to the plus side. Chicago has increased in the negative. Obviously, they're now minus 126. More value to the sports books. This is why I say this could be a dangerous game to pick whichever. Okay, if Green Bay were to go to plus, they're at plus 108 now. They're positive 108, plus 108. Monitor if they go to that negative side, because remember what happened on Thursday with the Rams and Seattle game. The Rams didn't go to the negative side. They went to plus 102, and they ended up losing the game by a point. But they did get the spread at plus 1.5 because they lost by a point. As I said, this minus 126, ignore that. Focus on Green Bay's ML. As long as Green Bay stays where they are or higher in the positive direction, go with Chicago. If they go to that negative side, pick Green Bay. Pick Green Bay. If they go to that negative side at all, pick Green Bay. Now, spread. 1.5 point favorites at minus 102 cost for Green Bay for Tuesday and Thursday, 12-16 and 12-18. 1.5 point underdogs are Chicago at minus 120 cost on Tuesday and Thursday, 12-16 and 12-18. Now, betting percentage from Tuesday, 32% betting percentage for Green Bay, 68% betting percentage for Chicago, 36% betting percentage for Green Bay, and 64% betting percentage for Chicago. 39% money percentage for Green Bay on Tuesday, and 61% money percentage for Chicago on Tuesday. 34% money going with Green Bay and 66% money going with Chicago. Now let's go over where the splits are now. Once again, 50-50 and 50-50. That is literally where the splits were several hours. Well, not several hours, about 2 hours ago. As you can see right here, showing you proof there. And what does that mean? It went down to 50. Went up to 50, actually. The money and the Green Bay went up to 50 on the spread. What does that mean? You have to look at the cost. Where are they in cost now? Minus 108 here, minus 112 here. Chicago dropped from minus 120 to minus 112. You always want to focus on the higher cost. They went down in cost, but they went up in value to the sports books at minus 126. But they still have an advantage here. Like I said, look out if Green Bay goes to the negative. As long as it stays where it is now, look out for Chicago, literally on the ML for sure, but on the spread as well, as long as they stay to that higher negative. if they go to even 110, even though this is a 1.5 point spread, a lot like what happened on Thursday, you might want to go with Green Bay on the spread. But let's go over the total. Over under 46.5 points for both days, Tuesday and Thursday. Minus 112 cost going over. Minus 108 cost going under. 56% betting percentage on Tuesday going over. 57% betting percentage on Thursday going over. 63% money percentage going over on Tuesday. 64% money percentage going over on Thursday. 1 point difference between the 2 days. Where are we now? 55% on the betting currently, 45% going under on the betting. Percentage of money on the total, 63% going over, 37% going under. So basically we're right where we were on Tuesday on the money. Now minus 112 cost at that time was going over, and it is currently still minus 112 cost going over. So with that cost being so high, with that cost being so well higher than the under, I should say, higher than the under, and it stayed consistent too. It has stayed consistent throughout the week. Minus 112, and the minus 112 hit more than the minus 108s, but it is about 54, 55, 45, 46, something like that. Not a huge advantage, but it is a decent advantage, especially in the betting world. But what you want to look out for, any change in that cost, go with the under. As it currently stands, go with the over. But any change, period, in this total, go with that under 46.5. Any change at all, even if it's with the amount on the total or with the cost on the total, go with the under. Any change. As it currently stands, go with that over. But yeah, we also have props available on the Patreon. Link is in the description in the video, as well as the picks. And we do have college football today, and I believe we have NBA as well, college basketball as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on today. It is the weekend. It is around the holiday. So what do you expect? But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Pray every day. I've been Scott. Join the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video. You guys take care.